What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So, I can't wait to get into today's plugin because it's gonna open up a debate. This is a debate that's been going on for a long time. Who's king? Logic or FL Studio? Now, I feel like the most popular choice right now is FL Studio. I will say that there are certain things about FL Studio that does give producers a bit of an edge when it comes to the workflow. And one of the things that FL Studio had for a very long time that was kind of like the secret sauce and secret weapon a while back, it was a plugin that came with FL Studio called Gross Beat, and it was really kind of like a secret sauce. It was giving producers a bit of an edge on flipping their sound and doing a lot of really unique things. So since then, there have been plugins that have come out that have allowed you to dive into the multi-effects aspect of time stretching and chopping and scratching and reversing and doing all kinds of weird warped things to your sound. But today we're gonna talk about a plugin that just came out by Akai, and it's called Flex Beat. And as you could tell in the title of the name, it's a direct answer to Gross Beat. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Akai, Flex Beat, let's see what this thing is all about. So as always, I have Logic queued up, and this is Flex Beat. Now you're gonna see some similarities between this and Gross Beat. I feel like this is an answer to a semi-problem for other DAW users besides FL Studio who might want that Gross Beat type of effect. It's going to help you achieve that, and it's going to do it at a good price. If we head over to the website, we'll see here that they have Flex Beat priced at a special launch price of $45, which I honestly feel $45 is an incredible price for what this plugin can do. Like I said, since Gross Beat has been around and FL Studio has been around, there has been other plugins that have come out that kind of give you some of the same characteristics that Gross Beat has to offer. Now, one of the things I will say right off the bat that's a little bit annoying is if you try the demo version for free, it's not a open demo version that you can just use for a few days and then it stops working when the demo is done. It's one of those demo versions that comes with that weird hissing in the background every 20 or 30 seconds. And I hate demo versions like that because, you know, you're not allowing me to get the full effect of the effect. Like, you're not allowing me to really use this thing and get the full effect of what it's like to use the product. So I wish they would get rid of that. Hopefully that's something they can get rid of and just allow users to use the plugin for a certain amount of time. And then when the time is done, they can't use it anymore unless they purchase a license. So let's go back over to Flex Beat and check this thing out. Now, if you look at what's happening here on the screen, just going off of what it looks like right off the bat, really cool UI. I like that they spiced it up with the color. You got a little bit of purple mixing with the black. I like that color combination. I like the look of this thing. I like the grid over here on the right. That is the exact same size of the total diameter of all of these different pads that are over here on the left. I think that's really cool. Now, if we just look at what's happening here on the screen, as you can see, you have all 16 of your pads here, 1 through 16. And these are pads that are going to give you a different effect on your sound depending on which pad you select. So for example, I have a melody right here that I can play for you guys, and I'm gonna just play the melody so you can hear what it sounds like with no effects on it, so you know what we're working with. And if I was to turn on Flex Beat, you can hear as soon as I turn it on, how it warps some of the characteristics of this sound. Yeah, And that was me just going through some of the pads that are on there. They already have pads set up for you to go. So as soon as you turn this thing on, you can start having fun with it. But if you just look at what's happening on the screen here, you have your pads. Your pads are labeled 1 through 16, and each pad has its own characteristic to it. Now, on each pad, you can left click over the pad to trigger it, to just pretty much select the pad that you want to use. And you'll notice over here on the right side of the screen, the grid changes in conjunction with what pad you have selected. Or you can right click on the pad and it's going to give you different play modes. Now, your play modes, you have one shot, you have loop, and you have hold. Now, just to go over really quickly with you what these different play modes are, is going to allow you to make adjustments in a lot of ways to how you want to use this plugin. Now, you may just want to click on one of the pads and just add that effect to your sound and just loop that effect over and over and just have that play on your sound. Or you may want to jump back and forth between the pads. Now, what one shot is going to do is, say, for example, you have one of these pads selected. If I was to click on this pad over here, it's going to play that pad straight through. I don't have to hold the pad. I can just click it and let it go. And it's going to play that pad straight through to completion and then just revert back to the original pad that you had selected. So that's what one shot is going to do. Loop is going to loop whatever pad you have selected over and over and over again. And what hold is going to do is it's going to play whatever pad you're holding for as long as you're holding it. And when you let it go, it's going to revert back to whatever pad you had selected previously. So you can just play around with these different things depending on the effect you're going for. If you're going for a more automated, interesting effect, you can kind of hold and let go different pads to kind of switch back and forth between different effects. But there's a lot of interesting ways you can approach it. So for example, I have the scratch pad selected right here on the left, and over here I have the gate pad on hold mode. So if I play the scratch pad, you'll notice every time I clicked on the gate pad, it played the gated effect through until I let go of the gate pad, and then it went back to the original pad that I was playing before, but I had to hold it. So that's what happens when you right click. You can go between the different play modes. You can save a preset, you can load a preset, you can rename the pad. You can also go down here to presets and go between different presets and change the preset for each pad. So you can go over here to this pad that says scratch, which is pad number 13, and go to preset, and you can change it to a stutter, and that changes that. Now up here you have quantize, and this just enables or disables the quantize mode, so you can keep things exactly on beat, or, you know, get a little loose with it. So right over here you have time, and you can click on that to make effects to the time envelope. So you can warp the timing of the sound that you're playing with, and you can make edits to the timing of that sound by clicking on time and then clicking edit, and you can change the different markers inside of the envelope to make adjustments to the time. And it's basically the same thing if you click on volume. You can make edits to the volume envelope. So if you have your timing envelope set like this, and now on top of that you want to make adjustments to the volume, you can make sure you have edit highlighted, and you can make adjustments to the way the volume moves inside of the grid. And you can make adjustments to the way the volume moves inside the envelope. So you can make adjustments to the time and the volume. Now over here you have edit, and I already told you what edit does. It allows you to add different control points within the grid, so you can make adjustments and kind of make your own presets, or make changes to the presets that they already have available for you. And right over here you have snap, and snap just allows you to enable or disable the snap to grid option, so you can make actual adjustments to the points in the grid. You could have 1 and 16, which is going to give you a lot more flexibility in your points, as you can see right here. But you turn on snap, and it's going to allow you to snap it to the grid just like that. Now, right over here on the left, you have your library tab. And you can go through the categories. They have everything from flanging effects to pitch shifters, stutter, turntablists, and you can actually audition the presets before you drag it to a pad. So you just click on a preset, go down here to preview, and you can hear what that sounds like. And if I like that preset, I would just click it and drag it to the pad that I want to drag it to. Drag it right there, get off a library, go back here, highlight that pad, and that's the effect that I'm going to have on my sound. Now, if I wanted to make edits to that, I could still drag any of these points inside of the grid, and it will snap to the grid because I have snap to grid selected right here. So you'll see these points are snapping between the different boxes inside of the grid. But if I wanted more flexibility to the movement of my sound, I can turn off snap to grid and I can really move things around a lot more freely in between the boxes like that. But yeah, really cool stuff. And it's a really cool tool to use, even if you don't really want to do too much to the sound that you already have. Maybe you just want to spark a new idea for what you're going to add to the composition that you're putting together. Sometimes it's really cool to play around with these different pads, and it might spark a whole new beat idea just from the way it's reversing the sound and doing different things. I mean, there's moments in beats where you might want the beat to change. There might be a bridge. You might want to do something different for the hook. A tool like this is a great way to spark ideas for new direction for where you might want to go in the composition. So what I want to do right now is I want to go through some of the presets. I'm going to just play a few different presets, and I'm going to play around with the pads and kind of click back and forth between different pads so you can kind of hear how you can mix things up and get it sounding really, really cool. Okay, so that was some of the presets, and now what I want to do is I want to get right into the cookup. I want to show you guys a beat I made using FlexBeat. Now, I use FlexBeat on 2 of the sounds in this beat. I'll show you what those sounds are. So let me bring the beat up really quickly for you guys so you can check this thing out. So as you can already hear, there's a bit of a pulsating melody in the beginning of this beat. That melody was warped using FlexBeat. So let's check this beat out. Yeah, so that was it. That was the beat I made using Flex Beat. Now, like I said, I used Flex Beat on the sounds inside of this beat. I actually used it on every sound inside of this beat with the exception of the drums and the brass instrument that played at the end there on the end of the beat. But it gave a different characteristic to every single sound I used it on. So I know a lot of producers might be watching this right now. You may be asking yourself, do I need this? Why do I need this? Aren't there already multi-effects plugins on the market? And the answer is yes. There's a lot of plugins on the market, a lot of plugins that do a lot of the same things. This is just the game that we live in right now. Everybody wants to dip their hand and their feet into the multi-effects plugin game, but everyone's multi-effects plugins are always a little bit different. They have their own presets, their own styles of approach, and some offer a lot more for a higher price range. I think at the price range, at this entry level price of about $40, you really can't go wrong with this plugin. Like FlexBeat allows you to do some really cool things to your sound for a really affordable price. Again, yes, there are plugins like Shaperbox, which allow you to do all kinds of crazy stuff to your sound, way more than what FlexBeat allows you to do. And so, yes, you could stick with, if you have Shaperbox, you may not want FlexBeat. But if you don't have Shaperbox, you may want to come in at an entry-level price and start getting your feet wet with a plugin like this and see what you could do to some of your sounds and just see how you can add it to your workflow and see if it makes any difference in sparking any kind of new creative directions. But let me know what you guys think. Is this a plugin that you can see yourself adding to your arsenal? As always, leave a comment down below of any new plugins that you'd like to see me review on this channel. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.